I'm glad. Got it. Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. Today I am here with Melissa. And Melissa, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So my name is Melissa, and I am a mom of two boys and a bonus mom to a girl. And 9, 6, and 3 are the years. And we each had a child, and then we decided to have an ours child, and that's how we got Dawson. So, yeah, we live here in Oklahoma, and I grew up in Texas, lived in Washington for a few years, then came back down south. So,
Nice.
anyway,
What part of Oklahoma are you guys in?
we're near Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
It's out in the country though, so in between towns.
Cool. Yeah, our Oklahoma City is our midway point back home. So whenever we drive to Kansas City, if we don't go through Oklahoma City, we go through Dodge City. So
Oh,
yeah, so there's two different ways that we can go.
well,
Yeah,
we should
midway.
meet up sometime.
Yes, we definitely should. So when Dawson was born, so Dawson's 3.
Mhm.
So when Dawson was born, did you guys know before he was born that he had Apert syndrome?
No. Mm-mm. So the medical technology here in Oklahoma is not necessarily up to par as some states. So we went to what's called a perinatal center, and they originally told us I was high risk anyway because I've had multiple miscarriages and issues in the past. But I have, Colton is a healthy child, didn't have any issues, just I was high risk, not him.
Right.
So anyway, because of me being high risk, they sent me immediately at my 6-week appointment, they set me up with perinatal. And so we got there and, everything seemed okay really early on because of course you can't see anything. And they saw me about every 3 weeks because of my stuff.
Right.
And all of a sudden one day they were like, hey, something doesn't look right. And I'm like, oh no, what's that mean? And I was by myself. So Jesse was working. He works a lot and he has his own company. So he can take off. I just would prefer him not to. So he hardly ever did. Yeah. And anyway, so one day they're like, yeah, something's going on. I don't like what I'm seeing. And I was like, I don't like that you said that. So they had another doctor come in because it's a group of doctors in that perinatal. And he looked at it and they're like, it looks like you might be having some binding or, something going on with the hands. We can't tell. But we're going to be following you closely. And that's how I left that day. That was it. And I was like, Oh, okay. Well, that went on for a long time. I'll try to make it short because, sometimes these stories can get ridiculous with how medical takes you down the road. Every week, I went twice a week, every week from then on. And that was right at like maybe 18, 20 weeks, something like that. And they ended up saying, I don't know, it might just be something on our end that we're not seeing.
Right.
He's probably going to be just fine. We can tell it's a boy. The heart seems to be okay. And so the one doctor's like, I don't think you need to be worried. He's probably going to come out just fine. And I was like, okay, well, this has been a lot of nonsense. Well, I went into labor at 33 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I went up there and they're like, you're not in labor. It's false, but we're going to keep you here in the clinic. So I was by myself. And so they kept me in the clinic for about 8 hours, maybe, hooked up. And they sent me home saying, you're fine. I know they're really hard contractions, but nothing's happening. The next morning I had him at 34 weeks exactly on the day.
Wow.
So he came out and there was something wrong. So no. They literally till the day he was born kept telling me it's probably going to be fine. No, I lied. The night before they said they did another ultrasound. since they had already done one that week, but they did another one. The night before, a different doctor came in who was from out of state, was filling in for my doctor. He said, I totally forgot about this. He said, you're probably not going to take this baby home. I can't tell what's wrong with it, but something very much is wrong. So he told me that the night before I had him. So when I had him,
incredible.
yeah, that's
wow.
So yeah, I didn't know, like, is there something wrong? Is there not something wrong? They were treating it as if there was, but then telling us, don't worry about it. It's probably gonna be fine. So
That's easier said than done. When you're in that situation and they're like, we don't know, but it's probably fine. Okay, what if it's not fine?
no,
Wow.
no. So
How
it was
long,
a coaster.
how long did he have to stay in the NICU?
We stayed, let's see, 37 days in the NICU. So, which is really good for a 34-weeker. You know, he had the regular respiratory issues. And so they sent us home only because we were able to get him to eat with, you know, the Dr. Brown's bottles with the blue disc in it and all that stuff. So they only sent us home because they were like, well, we don't know if he's going to live or not, but he can eat. So why don't you go home and see how this goes? We didn't know what he had until he was 3.5 weeks along, or 3.5 weeks old. And Mayo Clinic in St. Louis is who gave us the phone call. So
wow.
Yeah.
So did you guys have to wait for the genetic testing to come back before you knew 100%? Or did the doctors kind of have some sort of idea?
So one rotating doctor came through and was like, I've seen this when I was in residency, and I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I'm not allowed to diagnose. So, and he said, I'm going to say a name, but I really don't want you to go home and look it up. He's like, I don't. And so we did.
Of course, because that's the first thing you do.
I'm like, well, we have a name of something that possibly could be, but once we saw it, even though his severity is not and has not been as strong as some of the kiddos, it was very evident to us that that's what he had once we looked it up. So anyway, but yeah, so we didn't get a confirmation until he was 3.5 weeks, and we went home a few days later. So
has he ever had to have any kind of medical equipment? So obviously no feeding tube. Has he ever had to have like the trach or anything of that?
No, so not so far, and I don't think we're going to have to. We have struggled immensely with gut issues, which I find is pretty common. Like he does not process foods correctly. We've been on all kinds of meds for that. He has eosinophilic esophagitis, and we struggle with that on the daily. He has something wrong with his duodenum, where his food just doesn't go through very well. So that being said, they don't think we're going to need a feeding tube, because they said a feeding tube would not help him because it still would be above that point. So no, most of our stuff has been respiratory, just the regular. We came on heart monitors, O2 monitors, oxygen 24/7. All of that was 24/7 for the first 3 or 4 months of his life. But yeah, as of right now, we're very blessed. We just do breathing treatments and oxygen at night, and keep track of his O2 and suction if we need to. So
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Is he in school yet?
No.
No.
Well, he's 3. No.
No, I'm not ready for that yet.
And I don't will be. I don't know.
I get it. It's hard. We started Emma in preschool last year, and it was half a day. Our birth to 3-year program here in New Mexico helps with OT, speech, PT. So she had all of that in the home. And then when she gets to age 3, she aged out. But when she ages out, they help you get into the public school system, and they help you get set up with all the therapies at school. They help you get into the public school preschool, which usually there's a wait list. And we were just torn with even her going 4 days a week, a couple hours a day. We were terrified because there was still a large spike in COVID. And we're like, do we send her? Do we not send her? And so it's scary. Are they going to be nice to her? Are they, going to be ugly? And honestly, for us, it was the best thing that we've done. It was the best decision, I think, because she's been able to grow leaps and bounds with it. So next year, I'm a little bit worried because she's going to be going a full day. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't know. We're going to see. He does have the option to have nurses with him the first few years of schooling.
That's good.
So I just don't know, because I try to treat him as normal as we possibly can. So I'm like, I don't really want to be the kid that has a nurse at school.
Yeah.
But then there are stuff that he's going to need help with. So I don't know. For now, we're going to keep him home. We do a lot of Montessori style learning, and he's very brilliant. He knows all his colors. He's starting to count to 10, and you can't understand him, but I can.
You can though, and I love that. I love their little voices when they're counting.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
He definitely, it's going to be a change because I've homeschooled older brother. So older brother has decided he wants to go try out school again. And so this year it's going to be just me and Dawson. So we'll see how our homeschool goes.
I think it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be good. I tried the homeschool thing with my oldest, and he would have me homeschool him for the rest of his life if I would allow it. But I'm like, no, I'm not cut out for this. So props to you, because it's a lot.
It's a lot. I'm not the best at it either, because I'm like, I don't want to force them to do something. I'm more like, okay, we're going to unschool today. I don't know if you've heard that term, but we're like outside, and I'm like schooling him while he's playing, because I'm like, I can't make him sit. But he's grown, so he's doing much better. I think maturity with boys plays huge into schooling. So we'll see how.
Definitely. With his therapies, does he get therapies at home, or do you have to take him to clinic?
I voted against that. I didn't like so many people coming to my home that I didn't know. I'm a pretty private person, to be quite honest. And having nurses in my home has been hard enough on me. While they have been necessary, I don't like people. So it's like, I have to have a reason to be talking to you for me to want you in my home. And therapy wasn't a good enough reason. So we go to the city and we knock it all out in 1 or 2 days. He has physical therapy, occupational, speech, and feeding. So we are on a bit of holiday or vacation from therapy. His doctors felt like it was wise that we wanted to just be normal for a few months.
I like that.
So he had graduated from occupational and physical. So speech and feeding I can do here. So
exactly.
We start back up school year. So
that's awesome. You said that he has an issue with processing his food. Does that change what type of foods that he's able to eat?
So yes, with his, I believe it's his pyloric stenosis that plays into not being able to push harder foods through. We hope that changes eventually, but for now, the main source of food is still a bottle with Kate Farms formula. He has sensitivities to different things. He can't have a whole lot of dairy. He loves milk, but if we give him too much, we have problems.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it will ever change. He loves food. He loves to try to eat. but it just doesn't always play out well for him in the end.
Yeah. Poor guy.
So,
Can you explain a little bit about what the stenosis is? As far, because I've never heard of that.
so pyloric
Curious.
stenosis, from what I remember, I probably should have wrote this down because there's so many. He has like 12 different diagnoses of things that's going on. It's where, let's see, duodenous pyloric stenosis. So it's where the food does not go through, and then that area closes up down near the small intestine, I believe.
Okay.
I really wish I would have looked up this to be sure which
No,
one
you're
I'm
fine.
talking about. I
And
think that's it.
to be fair, I didn't know I was going to ask you that question, so it wasn't on our list.
It all plays together. So he has GERD. So, and it all comes from the small intestine, large intestine, stomach. It all plays. So he has like the esophagitis, he has the pyloric stenosis, and he has the dysfunction of the duodenum. So it's kind of all, a little bit of it can be mixed up in my head sometimes if I don't sit down and reread on the details. Because, he's 3 years old. We just discovered this in the last 8 months as to why he was not food down. Yeah.
Oh.
So this is still very new to me. We have yet to find a doctor that can help us fully with it. And the doctor that we have had hasn't been very good at explaining. So I've done a lot of my own independent research, which doesn't always help because I'm not a doctor. So
That's true, but sometimes we're put in these positions to where we don't have any other choice and we have to wing it.
Yeah, you have to study it on your own, and then you're like, okay, I'm a little bit confused though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, I actually haven't thought to ask the other Apert moms if they had any of those diagnoses, because it does interest me to see if any of it comes along with the Apert diagnosis.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I would be curious to know if there's other moms that have their kiddos have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they said he's had it from day one. We're just now catching it.
Wow.
So yeah.
So because that could explain a lot. I know that a lot of our kiddos, they have the GERD and it's just chalked up to, oh, they have GERD, they'll grow out of it, or they'll be on this medication. And now I'm starting to wonder if maybe there's more to that.
So when they went in to balloon his duodenum, I believe is what they were ballooning, they couldn't even get the balloon through because it was so tight. And they said that's extremely abnormal. They even did a preemie balloon to try to get through there, and couldn't get it through there, and perforated at one point during surgery.
No.
So yeah, he ended up being fine, but they were really freaked out that he would bleed out because it's so tight of an area, and they couldn't even get in there to hardly fix it if they needed to. So I wouldn't doubt, honestly, that our kids, a lot of them have that after hearing some of the stuff that we faced and then hearing the same stories from other moms.
It sounds like, similar.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
Very interesting that we found this. We're going to be heading to Tulsa soon to do a bit more study on it. So
that's good.
I guess if we ever have another interview, I'll know more.
Yes, that'll be good. That'll be good. And I plan on doing a lot. So, I want to have people back. I want to have the kiddos on if people are comfortable with that. So yeah, I really want to do a lot with that. I'm drawing a complete blank, so forgive me.
Well,
I was gonna ask, what type of foods? So has he done any table foods at all?
Yes. So he tastes everything except eggs is the only thing. He has like an anaphylactic reaction to eggs. Oh, no. So he literally will regurgitate until he is blue. And so that's the only thing we don't let him try anymore. But he tries everything in very small amounts. I cut his food up to very tiny scale. With my older kid, I did a baby-led weaning, so I just gave him chunks and let him chew,
Yeah,
and I can't do that because Dawson can't actually bite because of his underbite,
right.
and I think the underbite he has. Um, and so I'll have to cut them up anyways. Well, come to find out, that was the best thing I could do because then it's easier to digest.
Absolutely.
So
With his
he tries it.
underbite, that's awesome. With his underbite, I know with Emma, she has her lower jaw is about the regular size of like where it's supposed to be, but her upper jaw is really pushed in, and she has a very high palate, and she has a cleft. Is it the same type of situation where his upper jaw is pushed back quite a ways?
I want to say yes. Once again, that was something I didn't realize why he wasn't eating until we went to Dr. Fearon's this last month, and he's like, "That's why."
Yeah.
um, yes. So it's not extreme difference, but enough that when he goes to bite, he doesn't know. I don't even know if he can move his jaw back to make it line
Oh,
up.
wow. Yeah.
So Dr. Fearon said he's going to need to learn to bite from the side
Yeah.
because those are lining. So that will be something we go along and try later on. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Definitely.
and apparently they will be fixing that when he's like 8. But
Yes.
I don't know.
Will they fix that when he has his mid face?
Yes, is what they were saying. As long as all his teeth are in and everything, they'll also be able to do some of the dental at that time. So
Oh, that'll be great. Are they
hopefully.
waiting for his adult teeth to come in to do the dental?
Yes, he said there's no sense in doing anything beforehand.
Oh,
He said there's no sense at all. So we are currently looking for a surgical dentist here in the area, though, that is familiar with craniosynostosis at the very least.
yes.
So that's hard to find here too.
Yeah, we haven't even come across that bridge yet. We haven't even thought about it just because why? There's so many things that's going to change. We haven't even
Yep.
thought that far.
They were wanting us to go ahead and get him in because they want his teeth coated with the anti cavity, the stuff they can coat on it.
Really? I didn't even
Yeah.
know that was a thing.
Yeah, apparently it is. That's also something that they were talking to us about. So since we had been in Dallas. So
Yeah.
we're hunt all of a sudden for one more person to add to the team. Like, yay!
Does Dr. Fearon, does he know of anyone that he could refer you to?
Here in the area, he doesn't really because Dallas and Oklahoma City are not that far away, but
Right.
oh my goodness, the differences in medical
Yeah.
are huge. I don't want to bad talk it, but we're so far behind.
I get it.
We
It's like,
truly are.
yeah, it's like us here. So we live in Hobbs, but we live right on the border of New Mexico and Texas. And so we get all of our care in Lubbock at Texas Tech. And so just the comparison between Hobbs and Texas Tech, if I took Emma to Hobbs, they would have no clue.
They wouldn't. No, that's here. I don't even try like the ERs out here because
we don't either.
they would have no idea. We just fly to the city.
Yeah. We drive the hour and a half because they would have no idea.
Yeah, that is the truth.
How many surgeries has Dawson had?
He has had, so we were going over that earlier. 4 main surgeries. So 2 of the bilateral syndactyly releases. They did all 4 limbs at one time, both times. So they just, did the separate of how they released his fingers and toes. He had rosebud hands. So, that's the worst I think that you can have when it comes to the fusion.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do that right away because of it, is what they had said. I guess it can cause pain to keep it cramped up. So anyway, they did that right away. I think he was by a year old, we'd had all the 3 main surgeries.
Oh, wow.
So 2 of the syndactyly and the FOA, the 1 FOA, because he was starting to have a Chiari and have pressure build and stuff. So they were worried about hydrocephalus with that. But and then on the side of more minor surgeries or procedures, he has had ear tubes, and he has had let's see, his eyes, they had to go in and move the muscles. I do not remember the medical term of it, but on both sides of the eyes, because they kept being forced up and out.
Oh, wow.
And so they were worried that when your eyes do that, let's see, extrophia, alternating exotrophy, I guess, bilateral vertical stromosis too. Like they had a bunch of, I did write that down. They had like three or four things they were working on each eye with.
Oh, wow.
So they were saying he was seeing, his brain was attempting to process 2 totally different views at one time. And they were worried cognitively what that would do to him, and if it was causing headaches.
Right.
So we just did that 3 months ago, and they told us that might not hold, and it's not. So
no.
I don't know how that's going to look. We might have to repeat that one several times, but
do they have him doing patching at all?
No, they said it won't help.
Oh, really?
Not at all. So I am attempting a second opinion on that, but the person that he goes to for that sort of thing tends to be the best in the state. So I'm trusting his opinion, but also kind of looking around to make sure we're doing best. So
absolutely. What kind of things does he like to do?
His favorite thing in the whole world, and from the second he gets up, he has the sound he makes that says, "I want to go on a 4-wheeler ride." He wants it at his disposal at all times. We have about 10 to 12 acres here that we ride on and we own. And we, these kids, you do anything to make them happy. So we ended up getting him his own little 4-wheeler because we were tired of taking him on rides.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, so he drives that all around. But 4-wheeler, dirt bikes, he loves to go looking for deer. We go deer because we deer hunt, and we go looking for deer even in the summer. Doesn't matter, he just loves to go do it. So I would say anything outdoors. He's just an outdoor boy.
That's cool.
He swings himself.
Really?
So yes, we have it low enough to the ground where he just walks backwards and raises his legs and goes flying.
That's adorable.
So cute.
That's cool. Is he on the regular swing?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We bought the ones that were not hard, so it like curves with his body.
Yeah.
And he just wraps his elbows, his arms where it's in the crook of his elbow, and he goes. No big deal.
So fun.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too. It's new.
I love all the new things. I love it when they do new things. It's exciting.
Yes. He's so proud of himself. It's so cute.
What is one piece of advice that you would give to a new Apert parent?
Oh my goodness. I've actually been thinking that what would I have done different the last 3 years? Because my mental health took a tank. And I put myself on the back burner because I had to. We don't have a choice. And I think the biggest thing I can say is accept help. Accept it. Because everyone wants to help you when they see you going through this.
They do.
And a lot of people, I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm good. Thanks. And I was the furthest thing from good.
Yes. I was the same way. I had people trying to get me nursing, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. And it was one of those things of, no, I can't do it because, I'll do it all because I can do it better.
And we can. We really can. We can do it better,
But
but at the expense of ourselves.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And
I
there's,
would say accept help and give yourself grace,
yes,
all the grace, because you're gonna have to lower your standards quite a bit and then
yes.
lower them.
And then lower them again. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And there's time, take something else that I want to add to that is when you have the opportunity in the hospital to take a break, let the nurses do their job. I've been kicked out multiple times because I wouldn't leave. And these PICU nurses, like they all know Emma, they all know the family, and they're like, you need to leave for the day and just let us do our thing. She's fine. Just go. And don't be like me. Don't get yourself kicked out for the day.
I never have done that. I will say, at ours, so OU Children's is a rotating school. So you have all these students at every rotation. And you never have there's the same maybe 3 or 4 doctors over the whole hospital, and you don't know who's going to be on. But I will say one thing that they do is a part of those students is also students that are just in any part of the medical field that will come sit with your kid while you shower, while you
That's
go
so
downstairs to
cool.
get coffee. And I never let them until the
Yeah.
last, I want to say last year was probably the first time I let them watch him because I was so terrified something would happen while I'm
Yes.
gone. And I'm like, seriously. So,
I
yes,
get
I
it.
agree. Let them. They're not going to
Let
hurt your
them.
baby. Like,
Exactly.
the amount of people that are wanting to hurt your baby in the medical field is so minute. I was always so worried, but they're going to do something. They're not.
They're not.
And most of them counted a privilege to take care of our babies because they've never
Yes.
seen it before. And they're like,
Yes.
can we ask you questions? And I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Take the break. Yes.
Definitely. Definitely. And you guys have you have a blog on Facebook. Do you still have that?
Yeah. So he has a Facebook, he has an Instagram, and we have a blog. I don't keep up with the blog as much because to be quite honest, it's just a lot.
Right.
I started the blog for my family members that don't do internet things. A lot of them, I was raised very strict. So I started that on the side. I'm hoping to start that back up. But blog wise, it's practically the same on Instagram and Facebook. DWS Journey for Dawson Wyatt Seagraves Journey. And yeah, I try to keep up with it. It's challenging, but yes, we have fun.
Would you like for me to include a link to that on Facebook on the description?
Sure, if you want to.
Awesome.
Yep. I'm always open to parents, approaching me. And I will say having his own Facebook has given that opportunity to so many people who are just curious or like fellow moms with special needs or craniosynostosis. People have reached out to me just questions. Dawson actually has 2 forms of craniosynostosis. So it's been enlightening to be able to talk to other people too. So
it is. It's truly helpful. And I feel like it's another resource. And it's good to have so many resources.
Yep. I said from day one, I'm not going to hide my child.
No.
We're not in the 1800s.
Exactly.
So not even in the
Absolutely
1900s. We're talk about.
All right. Well, we are running low on our time, but thank you for doing this. I'm glad that we were finally to get everything lined up and you guys are feeling better and we were able to do it. It was nice talking to you. I truly appreciate it. And I hope that you guys come back.
Yes, I will.
Yes, I want to have you guys on again. That would be great.
So hopefully I'll bring him along next time. He's napping right now.
Please, definitely. All right. Thank you so much. It was good to talk to you.
Thank you. You have a great one.
You too.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.